Hello. So I am recording this immediately after a conversation I had with Karma and Damon, and I will be posting this as soon as I'm done recording this. No scheduled stream, no anything. I want to talk about everything that transpired, my thoughts in regards to both the conversation and Karma's live stream that she literally just had. Or he, sorry. I want to say that the final has a star next to it for a reason, and that's because there's still going to be some things I talk about karma or in regards to karma. One is the video about the live stream that he made, his initial one, because I feel like I need I want to talk about it because it's an example of a pretty bad response, and I kind of want it as like a reference for people going forward on what a bad response looks like. Another video I'm gonna make is about the his friend slash moderator slash whatever you really want to call them. Karma knows who I'm talking about. Because I want to show how someone who makes up excuses for somebody can wind up just enabling that kind of defense and behavior more. And lastly, I'm going to be posting a compilation of everything that transpired. I'm going to be also remaking my first video on how this all started because this, even though this kind of, I guess, ended, though it didn't really end, um, Cobb just said that it ended. It kind of is still up in the air. So I want to talk about his live stream first. Here, he does say that both parties did something wrong, including himself. And this is why I still want to like keep it going because he is wrong. The person in question, both parties in question are him and is him, Karma, and Max, who was the victim. Max at the time was 14 and Karma was 18. It was a an online sexual conversation, and I don't think I should need to say this, but the 14-year-old is not at fault for what happened because they are a young. There's someone who is young and impressionable, and is not. I'm trying to find a way to say this. I didn't make a script for this because I wanted my my take on this to be as genuine as it can whilst my thoughts are fresh. But Max at the time was it was very impressionable, as all kids are, and Karma was a responsible adult. Karma had the responsibility to stop it in its tracks and make sure that it stays that way. That was his responsibility as an adult. That's everyone's responsibility as an adult if they see anything going on that's sexual between a minor online. And he failed to do that. And him trying to pin the blame on or any blame on Max, saying that it's a fault by both parties, is absolutely ridiculous. And I just, that's something I think he needs to at least make a comment or post about. That this is not Max's fault in any way, shape, or form. Max was a minor at the time, still is a minor, in fact, and Karma was an adult, and still is an adult, and still is refusing to take 100% for responsibility. Now, one other thing that Karma did talk about is how he will be leaving Max alone. I think this is the most important thing to come out of this, and I just want to give props to Karma for finally realizing that, even if it took 3 fucking years. Um, he went on into some more things. He keeps on thinking that with that that I'm doing this because of ego, which is just like again, I feel like it's still not really accepting full blame for for this and taking any real accountability. And he kind of just goes like on and on about that how people shouldn't see him as like a monster or anything. But I do want to talk about one thing that he does. Him and his moderator I mentioned before in question, Karma knows who I'm talking about because I brought it up in the chat. Um, is that anytime anyone even tries to poke holes in anything that's going on to try and bring up important questions and give you any kind of pushback on this, as you should do in times like these, not just surround yourself in a constant echo chamber. You or your moderator, they they banned them. I saw this when Damon was in your chat and was bringing up more details to light, and the response was to ban him after he started asking more questions, and I feel like that is pretty low. And this moderator in question, I want to say this now, Karma, if you're watching this, I know we like just got done talking, but I do want you to add me back. I want to talk to you about this moderator who I'm gonna spend some more time to to talk about. I feel like one of the big reasons that Karma is so hung tight on the idea of there being equal blame for all of this is the idea that it is Max's fault because they started it. Because there was somebody in who was friends with Karma, who is hell bent on the idea that it's not Karma's fault in any way, shape, or form, and all of the blame is on Max, which is an absolutely revolting thing to even say out loud for any reason. This is somebody who is doing this for I don't even know why. I imagine it's because they just can't take an L. And if there's anyone who has a big ego, it's unironically that person. But I do want to talk to Karma about that person because I tried to bring it up multiple times when talking to Karma inside of the group chat between me and Damon. However, he kind of just like glossed over it. But I feel like that's like the biggest thing I want to talk about now is that is that um is that I want to talk to him about her because that person, if there's anyone who needs to go, it's that person, plain and simple. Now I want to talk about the chat that happened between me, Karma, and Damon. I won't really show any screenshots because a lot of what Karma posted about was not really a defense of him and how he didn't do it. It was more of just how he tried to frame Max as just a very mentally unstable person, and it's because of that what Karma did was okay, and that it's Max's fault. Which I want to say that doesn't help your case, and if anything, I think that makes you look worse, Karma. I think the fact you that you did this despite them being a very mentally ill person, at least allegedly. I don't really, I'm not a, like, I'm not a psychologist. I can't really come to any real conclusion on on what's going on with Max, and it doesn't really change my perspective of them or this entire case at all. But I do want to say that I think that shit was very low. I think trying to bring up somebody's I'm trying to find like the right words for this. Somebody's lows, like their lowest lows in the past, and trying to use that as a justification for your own pretty shitty actions, like sexting a 14-year-old. I think that's low, and that's not a good defense. I just want to throw that out there. But to wrap everything up here in the end, there probably won't be any too many comma posts after this. The ones I can say is that I'm gonna make a video about his initial live stream. I'm gonna make a video about the moderator in question. Uh, It won't be a comma defender type video. It'll be a video about how people can help influence a bad choice if they surround themselves by people who give them bad ideas. That doesn't really make too much sense, but I'm saying this off rip without really thinking, but I will still make a video on that because I feel like it is beyond reprehensible what they have done and said. I will be making a remake of my first Karma video because it's not pretty good in this case. Kind of still isn't really closed. Like there isn't really any definitive ending to this that will happen ever in general. So um, I still want these resources easily available that break down exactly what Karma did in the entire this situation. That's a lot better than the initial one because people, as Karma said, it's up to people to make up their minds on if they should continue to support Karma or not. In my opinion, I think what should happen to Karma is the same thing that should happen to all the other influencers who were outed as predators, and that's lose their channel and their social standing so they can't influence anyone else. But I'm not an authority figure, and nor is that something I can reasonably strive for. So I'm just going to do my due diligence and post all of the evidence out there and leave it up to other people on what they want to do. And finally, I will post a compilation where I'll put together all my videos into one big timeline video that's just like the ultimate resource that somebody can access. So that's about it. Hugh at the end, comma. I hope to hear from you again to discuss this thing about your moderator, and I will see you all later.